All right. So last weekend, I was at the store, and I normally don't buy my whiskey at just the regular grocery store because their selection is usually so horrible.
Horrible. Horrible, most horrible.
You almost never uh, come up with something that you've never had before. Which would make a really boring show. Hey, look, we got like 10 whiskeys we're reviewing over and over again. No one cares. So to get a different type of whiskey each time, there's a couple of non-regular grocery stores that I go to. One of them is the big box store in the area, and that has an entire like two aisles of different kinds of whiskeys, like three aisles of whiskeys. So, but I was at just the regular grocery store, and I knew I didn't have a whiskey to review for this week, so I took a quick glance. Just hey, do they got anything interesting? Lunch is coming up, by the way, and I found this, and I found it very interesting. Some may say that they find it frightening, but what it is it's a new one called Point Rider bourbon whiskey, and Point Rider is I want to get a better shot of that for the let's see here. There we go. So with Point Rider, you got it's Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. So if you know anything about whiskey, you'll know, and if you watch this show on a regular basis, you'll know that when they say
oh, here it comes. Lots of explaining.
When it says bourbon, there is absolutely no. It has to be aged in virgin oak, and there's no stipulation as to how long. It could be aged in virgin oak for a tenth of a second, and it's still bourbon because it was aged in virgin oak. Now nobody ages their whiskey for a tenth of a second, but it could be to be called bourbon. There is no age limit. It doesn't say anything about how long it's been aged. But if you say straight bourbon whiskey, that means it's been aged at least 2 years. This whiskey has been aged, they say 36 months, 3 years. So they're 1 year short of being able to make it bonded. But they're also not quite strong enough to be bonded. Bonded is 100 proof. This is 80 proof. So let's see. Yeah. And but the really interesting thing about it is the big talk of the town amongst whiskey snobs is that it's basically a Sazerac whiskey. And there's a new trademark that they put out, they had done for it, and it's a new product. Well, so here's where things get scary. What made me buy it is it was only $10. And when we haven't reviewed a $10 whiskey in a while because, quite frankly, I don't want to go blind.
Ooh, I'm blind. I'm blind.
So, but the thing with the $10 whiskeys is sometimes you end up with that decent daily whiskey, that decent regular go-to whiskey, when you're not doing a review of a show and you're just kicking back at night after work kind of thing, and you can find some really good inexpensive whiskeys so that you're not always buying $100 whiskeys, $80 whiskeys, $60 whiskeys. Sometimes you need that $10 when times a little tough. Maybe you're saving up some money. So I buy the $10 every once in a while just so that maybe I can find that small handful of really good quality whiskey that's really inexpensive. You got Rebel Yell. Rebel Yell is a good, inexpensive whiskey that is very easy to find, and it won't break the bank. Benchmark is another one that is getting harder and harder to find, but it's a decent quality whiskey, especially for the price. So who knows? Maybe Point Rider might be another one. So anyways, this is Point Rider. First, let's go on the nose.
All right, on the nose.
I'm sensing a bit of rye in there. It has the basically all the typical parts of a bourbon. Definitely smells like bourbon, but with a little bit higher mix of rye in the mash bill than a lot of bourbons. I'm guessing that this is a barley. Basically, you got 51% corn, and what you do with the rest of it is up to you to be called a bourbon. And I'm guessing this has a large amount of barley as opposed to being a wheated bourbon. I think it has a good amount of rye in there as well. That's just from the nose. But now let's bring out my good buddy. Let's bring out my good buddy Dark Helmet. Dark Helmet, do your thing.
Ludicrous speed!
So I gotta say, for $10, this is a phenomenal whiskey. Absolutely phenomenal. Amazing for $10. I've had $80 whiskeys that were about like this. This is also, like I said, on the nose, I was sensing that it was very high, very, very strong with the rye. That finish, that's a rye finish, but people, I will be shocked if somebody comes out and finds out that this had a very low rye content. There's some serious rye there. So if you like that little stronger bite, being a Sazerac whiskey, they did their cuts perfectly fine. I'm not tasting like a turpentine cheap whiskey that'll make you go blind kind of situation. I'm thinking, this is my guess, this is my prediction. I think Point Rider is being released simply to gain a following. Basically, sometimes they'll put out these whiskeys, and it'll be a new brand, but it'll get great distribution. Well, it'll come up in your regular grocery store, but they'll put it up for $10, and everybody go, "Well, okay, I'll try it for $10." And 90% of the people mix it with cola, and but then that 10% of whiskey snobs like me will try it and just go, "How is that $10? That makes no sense." And the next thing you know, it's going for 20. Then it's going for 30. Then next thing you know, the company has a quality product that has a reputation. And so my guess is that Point Rider is being set up to be a much higher quality product, a much more expensive product. So I'm recommending that everybody go out and buy Point Rider now, because it's about to, my prediction is a year from now, it's going to be at least twice the price.
I've got to buy Chinpokomon. I've got to buy it. I've got to buy it.
Either twice the price or maybe even 3 times the price. So that's my prediction. That's my review. I'm going to enjoy finishing this whiskey. I don't regret buying it at all. This is another one of my my $10 my $10 heroes, you know. So along with Benchmark and Rebel Yell and Old Granddad. So anyways, that's the show for this week. Coming up, I think I might have enough bourbons to do a blind taste test with the Point Rider, the Metallica Blackened that you see the box behind me with, and maybe one other. I'm not sure which one, but I'll mix in another whiskey, and we'll try and see if mouse in my pocket. I will try and see if I can tell the different bourbons apart.
I may fail. You may fail.
Of course, I don't think. Yeah, Metallica's isn't a bourbon, so I'll see if I can tell those whiskeys apart. So, anyways, that's it for the show. And if you haven't noticed, we've been on Facebook. We've been making all of our videos, all of our main flagship shows, basically a fundraiser for World Central Kitchen. And if you look up World Central Kitchen, they're doing a lot of great things. Just getting people fed, and there's nothing when you're poor. There's nothing like a good healthy meal, and they're getting good healthy meals to families and to people that maybe can't afford one. They're really helping America survive, or the world survive, this COVID-19 thing. And they're just doing a lot of good stuff. And I searched really hard to find a good, reputable charity that's doing a lot of great work that wasn't too political. So that's who I came up with. So support World Central Kitchen, and see if you can pitch in just a little bit. If everybody watching this pitches in just a little bit, we can help them we can do our little part in helping them do so much good in the world. So cheers to you, World Central Kitchen. And anyways, that's it for the show. See you next week for another episode of Nerds Drink Whiskey.